You got drafted, you won Rookie of the Year, you win a Super Bowl. You guys had so much success in Denver for many, many years, and then you get traded. What was it like, this new phase of your career?
I was 32 years old, and I cried. Like, I couldn't stop crying because it really hit home that phase of my life was over with. But when I hopped on that plane, I said, man, when I land in LA, I'm not a Denver Bronco no more. I'm an LA Ram, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win another Super Bowl.
What's Allen got that makes him so special?
The way he handles leadership is a way that it's purposeful, it's with intent, but at the same time, he has his hair down, man. He's chilling. He's one of the guys. And then the very next play, DeMar Hamlin gets hurt. And they show the instant replay of him standing up and him falling out, and they go to commercial break. And then we come back, and then they go to commercial break again.
Yeah.
And then they come back. But when I saw those guys react in the way that they did, I knew it was something really, really serious.
What's going on, Wealth Builders? Today, I have got a 2-time Super Bowl champion. I think 8 Pro Bowls, if I'm not mistaken. And he's going to be, he just told me, the first player to win 3 different Super Bowls with 3 different teams. I've got Von Miller. What's up, man?
Thanks, guys, for having me, man. I played golf with my guy, man. Invited me on the show, man. This is an honor and a privilege, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude. So you're out here. You're already in your golf attire. You're ready to go to the match, right?
You know how it is when you start playing golf, like everything just changes. You spend a lot less money on golf clothes. I wear the same golf clothes all the time. All of my money goes to golf balls, golf clubs, and all of that
A
stuff.
lot of golf balls.
But as far as like fashion and all of that stuff, it's all golf gear for me.
Dude, that's funny. You go from like, we were talking, I think, about DJ Khaled's. He's got like the $25,000 golf bag or something crazy.
It's insane. It's a $30,000 golf bag, and which for me it wouldn't make sense for me because I got a $30,000 golf bag and I go out there and shoot a 105. So
you got to earn it.
It doesn't
DJ
make sense
Khaled's probably doing the same thing.
It doesn't make sense for me. It looks cool though. It is a cool bag.
Would you like set a limit to where you'll reward yourself? You'll be like, hey, once I'm consistently under 80. I deserve it.
I think the biggest reward is just going out there and crushing shit in front of your buddies, man. I don't think guys. The golf bag is cool, but for me, I feel like the golf game speaks volumes. I've seen guys go out there with dirty, rusted old clubs and an old bag and just go out there and rip the course up. So that's what I like. Of course, it's nice to look good because when you look good, you play good.
Yeah.
But I'm all about the game, man, for sure.
So what made you get into golf? I mean, obviously you played football your entire life. Like, why golf?
It just kind of chose me. I was introduced to golf at an early age by my grandfather. Taught me how to grip, and I go to the golf course and putt around and eat candy and stuff. And I got away from it. Got into the league. Everybody in the National Football League, everybody in the NBA, they gift you clubs. Like, it's not hard to come across a pair of clubs in the NFL or in the NBA. And early on in my career, I had a pair of golf clubs. I didn't really use them. Probably used them once or twice a year to play at charity tournaments or something. And one day I was training in Colorado Springs with Odell Beckham. He was rehabbing his knee in Arizona, so he was playing a lot of golf. And we had a break. We had a day off, and I asked him, "What you want to do?" Like, "It's my guy. Like, whatever you want to do. This is Denver.
Yeah.
This is Colorado. I'll run this.
This is my city.
This is my city. What do you want to do?" And he said, "I'm gonna go play golf." I was like, "Wait, play golf? You serious?" He's like, "Yeah, let's go play golf, man." And I went out there. We took a shot before we started. It was my very first time we started betting and gambling, and the competitive nature comes out, and I was hooked. I went to the PGA Superstore after that.
You got fitted.
and I was hooked, man. I was like, maybe it's the putter. So I tried 4 or 5 different putters. I was like, maybe it's the golf ball. Went and switched out the golf balls, and I've just been consumed since then. I
gotta say, your putter is the biggest putter I've ever seen. Dude, I don't even know where you got it from. It looks like a driver.
It's the arm lock, LA Golf arm lock, and I'm a huge fan of Bryson DeChambeau. So whenever I started playing golf, I just wanted everything that Bryson DeChambeau had, and his game is a whole lot different, man. He's a pro, so I had the ultralight grips on all of my clubs, and I had the arm lock putter like Bryson DeChambeau, and I kind of got away from the grips and stuff, but I just feel so comfortable with that putter, man. It's when I stand over the ball and I have it's a huge blade on there.
Oh, dude, it's
arm locked. It's
stiff.
I just feel like I feel so comfortable with it. I tried to go away from it, and how you start something, you become comfortable.
Yeah.
I tried to go away from it. I tried to go away from it to a regular putter, and I felt too risky, so I just sticking with my arm lock.
Well, I'll say, even though it's huge, it looks like normal with you because you're so big.
Yeah.
And then like I held it and it looked like I was like an idiot just holding this thing.
And then, you know, when I really address the putter, it doesn't really look like like you said, I'm big, it's a big putter, so it doesn't really look like an arm lock putter, because the way I address it and I get low on the putter, it fits me well.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously we're gonna get into football career and everything too, but one thing about DeChambeau, it's funny you brought him up. He's like super into social media and building his personal brand and making content, and you are too. And there's not a lot of athletes that are really. I mean, most athletes, you're just told focus on your game and get better. And I mean, when I was coming up through the minor leagues, they're always like, "Don't even post on social media. Yeah. Like it's stupid. It only can get you in trouble, right?" And then you see people like John Morant, where it does get you in trouble, but when guys like you and DeChambeau are actually like creating content as content creators, like I think it just puts you guys at like a totally different level than everyone.
I just think it's a unique way for me to connect to my fans. If I didn't have any fans, I wouldn't even have a social media. But I have some of the greatest fans, whether it's LA, Buffalo, Denver, Texas A&M, DeSoto, and it's just a way for me to connect with all those guys. And I like to give them a sneak peek. I don't like to give them too much.
Yeah.
Social media is one of those places where you just focus on the good. We all deal with life, so I just try to make it look as good as possible and give my fans some of the best content that I can give them.
When did you start like vlogging and doing all that?
I started in 2016. I started in 2015. It was crazy because I saw the Instagram was just now popping off, and everybody was taking pictures with their phones and stuff, right? And Deshaun Jackson was the very first guy that I saw with a professional camera man doing video and stills and stuff. And
everybody was looking at him like he's crazy.
I was like, man, this is crazy. He was just getting a massage on the table, and it was a professional photo. I was like, man, it's so dope. I want to do the same thing. So I started working with my guy Ben, and I ended up going to the Super Bowl and winning it. And that whole off season, we just created content, and I just been.
So did you get the behind the scenes that season too?
I got a little bit of everything. My cameramen, they're really, really good. It's hard to find a good cameraman too, because you gotta be able to let them into like your personal life, and they're around you 24/7. So I have, some of the best guys working for me, man. And I just try to give my fans a unique perspective on my life.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, man. I think obviously like this next generation of athletes they're born into it.
It's over, yeah.
Yeah, they know.
It's over.
That's what leads to endorsements. That's what leads to all the other things.
Another thing too about social media too, it can be harmful as well, especially if you're an athlete and you want to play to the highest. If you want to play to the highest, if you want to play to your highest ability, sometimes you gotta identify what's necessary and eliminate the rest. And social media for me often falls on the elimination side, because subconsciously, when you scroll and you look at stuff, it creates thoughts and intention that wouldn't normally be there. Like,
oh, you're saying like when you see the haters or
not even just the haters. It could be a beautiful woman on there, and then you go to her page and you would have never even had those thoughts if I wasn't on social media. It could be a guy, he could buy a Cullinan, and then I'm thinking like, dang, I like the Cullinan. I would have never had that thought if I wouldn't have been on social media. So whenever it's crunch time for me, whenever it's during the season or playoffs, I just try to completely remove myself from social media. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've said that for a long time. Like, I'm not big on like scrolling and watching social media, but obviously I'm creating a ton of content. And so it's like, man, if you're only consuming content, which 99% of people are, then like, I can totally warp you.
You get stuck and you get stuck and you just get consumed by it. And I think the worst position to be in is to be addicted to social media and not know it.
Yeah.
Those like, I identify my addiction. I was like, man, I need to get away from it. It's not helping me. But some of the scariest situations that you could be in is when you're addicted to social media and you don't even know it. First time you wake up in the morning, next Instagram. I'm still in the bed. I ain't even brushed my teeth. And you just scrolling on Instagram and you waste 45 minutes like, damn, I'm late to go to work. And then you go to work, you get a break, and I'm back on Instagram. And it's, it just takes away sometimes. But it is a great place to, to get exposure and put out great messages and create great content.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, going to the football side of things, I mean, you came out of college, as a senior, you had a chance to get drafted as a junior, and like what made you want to go back for your senior year?
Man, honestly, I cried on this decision. I literally cried. I sat and I cried with my dad. I had a second round grade to lead. So I was projected to go in the second round, which they always project you lower because they don't want to influence, your decision. So
yeah.
Whenever you send your grade into the NFL scouts, they always project you lower. So me with a second round grade, it was saying that I would potentially go first round after the combine and all of that stuff. So, and that's the dream. That is always the dream, is to go to the National Football League. But for me, I went to Texas A&M with 3 of my other buddies, Cyrus Gray, Garrick Williams, and Tony Girardetti. We all went to the same high school. We all went to the same junior college. We all grew up together, and we all chose to go to Texas A&M. So when it was time for me to go pro, my decision to stay was really, I just liked college, man. It was just that simple, man. I liked college. I liked the vibe. I liked the locker room. I liked not having any responsibilities. My dad started talking to me about taxes and this and that, and you're gonna have to do this. And I was like, okay, I can wait on that for 1 year. It was still some things that I need to work on my game as well to kind of solidify the type of player that I wanted them to view me as. So I need to get stronger, put on a little bit of weight. I decided to come back to Texas A&M for my senior year, and it was one of the best decisions of my life. Honestly, it started off bad because my very first game, I got injured.
I was going to say, were you scared? Because football's like, dude, it could be over tomorrow.
I took out Lord of London's. I had the insurance policy, but it still doesn't remove that anxiety of, damn, like, what if something happens? Like, I had the opportunity to go pro. What if something happens? What if, you could tear your ACL, this and that. So I did take out a Lord of London's insurance policy, but it still didn't ease my anxiety. In the very first game, second quarter, I run a stunt inside to the A-gap, and the guy just dives on my ankle. And I had a high ankle sprain. I was supposed to be out for 6 weeks, but this is my senior year, so I had to just make the shit happen for those 6 weeks. But I ended up getting healthy right around week 6. I didn't get a sack until week 6. And in college you only play 11 games.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a sack until week 6, but I still ended up with 10.5 sacks. So
what was it like the 6 weeks you were sitting out? Like, dude, I screwed up. I should have just got drafted. Why did I do this?
I had already made that decision, and I never really like to look back, and I've always been a positive self-talk guy.
Yeah.
So if I'm not positive self-talking myself, then I can't will myself out of these tough, adverse situations. So even though it happened, I stayed prayed up. I continued to go to rehab, and I just knew I would get better. I knew that scouts still saw the way I played, even though I was injured, and I knew I was still getting my job done. And I still knew I would have an opportunity to go to the National Football League.
Yeah. So you ended up getting drafted 2nd overall. Like, what was so different about, dude, to only play half the season and to show from being 2nd rounder to 2nd overall, what was the difference?
Man, I think I was a lot more, I was just more pro ready. I was a lot stronger. My junior year was just speed sacks. My senior year, I played to run a lot better. I had another year with leadership. I had another year to mature on and off the football field. And I think the difference for me was I was just bigger, stronger, and faster, and I was able to show the scouts that I was ready to go.
Yeah. What was it like going through that pre-draft process? You're talking to the Broncos.
Yeah.
And what is it like for people who don't know? They're just grilling you?
Yeah. Football has always been the hardest part for me. When it comes to a social setting, a meeting with scouts or signing autographs or any obligation that football brings, that's always been the easy part for me. Football is challenging. Football is real. It's challenging. That is the hardest part. Going in on that football field and competing against another grown man who has a family and he wants to win just as bad as you do. That is not easy. So whenever I have opportunity to talk to scouts about me and tell them what type of player I think I am, or take a test or
you
train,
crush it in that part.
It was easy. It felt like a track meet for me. I have a track background. I ran track my whole entire life, so it felt like a track meet for me. And I would sit down, and whenever I can have opportunity to talk to a guy and tell him about my game, and for them to just get a view on me, I felt like that was the easy part for sure.
Yeah, I can attest to that. When I met you last month, it was like, bro, you're just so welcoming to everyone, not just me. Dude, you're not like this guy who's, obviously you've accomplished so much, but you have no ego, none of that stuff that you would expect with somebody who's done so much.
Yeah, you got to be able to turn it off too, because you got to, to be a great football player, you gotta have that, man.
Yeah.
You gotta have the ego. You gotta have like the
But you gotta know you're bad.
You do. Yeah.
But
for me, I can turn it off and turn it back on, man. Football is just something that I do.
Yeah.
It's not my life. It's not my identity. It's just something that I do. I'm good at it. Like it's just something that I do, man. And I always treat it as I love it. It's my passion, but it's just something that I do for sure.
So what happens when you turn it on? Is it just like this total switch where you're just like blocking out everything and it's this whole different mentality?
Yeah, I go all the way in. It's not something that you can just turn on. It takes, we play on Sunday. You have a half day on Monday. You're off on Tuesday. It takes from Wednesday to that next Monday for me to turn it on. I have to practice hard. I have to do the conditioning. I have to get the weight room rep. I have to, do the mental work in meetings. It takes a couple of days for me to really tap into that zone. And when I step on that football field, I barely even talk to my teammates. Like
you're just in.
I got the pacifier mouthpiece, and it's just, and I'm looking and I'm trying to anticipate what's going on next. How can I make a play? I've always felt like I can win this game by myself. Not that I don't trust my teammates or everything else. It's just the perspective that I have on the game. I want to go out here and I want to make everybody else's job around me easy. And if I have to, I'll win this bitch by myself. So that is my mindset whenever I'm going into games. And I don't talk to the other team. I don't trash talk. If anything, I talk those guys up. Like, so it'd be, if we have a timeout, I'd be like, hey man, how the kids doing, man? Man, this 10 years, man, you've been playing.
This is a long time.
It's a long time, man. You're doing a good job, man. You look good, man. And blow the whistle, I'm right back on the ass.
I remember watching a segment with Andrew Luck, and they were like, he would get hit, and he'd be like, bro, that was a great hit, bro. That was so good. Like,
he did me like that, and it's kind of like you want to. Oh, you're a nice guy, man. You crush the guy, and you over, and he looks at you like, whoa. That was a nice hit. Joe Burrow's like that too. Joe
Burrow does that?
Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. So we played Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl, and it was probably like third quarter or something. Timeout. This is Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like,
stakes.
I'm really turned in, but you got Joe like, Vaughn. And I tried to ignore him. He said, Vaughn. I tried to ignore him again. He said, Vaughn, he got like in my vision. And I was like, what's up? He's like, man, huge fan, man. I love you, man. Huge fan. So he was trying to do the same thing to me that I do to those guys, man. So I just try to, take some of the tension off, man. Football is already hard enough, man. I don't want to motivate these guys to play any harder.
Yeah. What do you think of a guy like Burrow doing that his second year in the league, man, to have that much poise and confidence?
He is a special player. He's a special person. I know people got on my back when I compared him to Tom Brady. And of course Tom Brady's won 7 Super Bowls. He's accomplished so much. That's not the comparison that I'm giving Joe Burrow. I'm going off his moxie and his energy and his confidence. Yeah. They both have that calm confidence, and as an opponent, I feel it. Yeah. So I feel like Joe Burrow and Tom Brady, they have a lot of similarities when it comes to that part of the game.
Yeah. I watched his senior season at LSU. I mean, like, this guy had to transfer. He wasn't really anybody. Then he just has like the greatest college football season ever. You're like, where did this guy come from?
He's definitely got it, man. When you look in his eyes, man, you can really feel it, man. He's a great player. He's gonna have an incredible career. I wish him nothing but the best until you play the Buffalo Bills. But they beat us last year. They kicked us out. They kicked us out of the playoffs last year. So he even has that. So wish they got nothing but luck, man. And I'm a huge fan of those guys.
Yeah. So a guy he gets compared to is your quarterback right now, Josh Allen. So what's Allen got that makes him so special?
Josh Allen is one of the guys. And the way he handles leadership is a way that it's purposeful and it's with intent. But at the same time, he has his hair down, man. He's chilling. He's one of the guys, man. He might walk past you and just try to tap you in the nuts, like just try to. He's that type of. He's a playful. Yeah. He's a playful like guy, man. He's joking. He's confident, and you feel it, and the whole facility kind of follows suit. Yeah. With it being Buffalo, it's snowy, it's windy. The elements are just horrible. Yeah. But when we walk into that facility, it is a sunny day. It feels like. It feels like we're in Costa Rica or Cabo. Every time we walk into that facility, everybody has great personalities. Everybody wants to do whatever it takes to win, and that's all off. That's that's because
He's
everybody in
setting
the
the tone.
facility is following Josh Allen.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, you come from Texas where it's hot, and then you end up like your whole life in Denver and now Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like, how's that weather-wise?
You don't want to play in Dallas in the humid. It's tough. But I grew up on that, so I can do that any type of day.
Yeah.
For me, I like playing in the elements. I want some type of element. I'm on defense. I'm on attack all the time. Attack,
Yeah,
attack,
it's
attack,
harder
attack.
for the offense in the
Attack,
elements.
attack, attack.
Yeah.
So I want it as cold as possible. I want it as hot as possible.
Yeah.
Windy. I don't really like playing in the rain or snow because I want to be able to run and dip and stuff. So, but I even take that too. I want to make their job as hard as possible, and I want to be on my game to take advantage of those elements.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're looking to grow your real estate investing business, whether you're just getting started trying to get your first deal or you're trying to scale and get to the next level, you need to join us at Wealthy Investor. We've got events every single quarter that are absolutely crazy. We've got online coaching programs where we have Zoom calls, a community every single week. We give you everything you need to know to start your business, scripts, processes, SOPs, all of it. It's for you so that you can dominate. So if you want to learn more about how to join our community and be mentored by me and some of our top coaches and be around other students who are absolutely crushing it, go to wealthyinvestor.com, apply for a free call with my team. Once again, wealthyinvestor.com, apply for a call today.
Going back to like your early days in Denver, I mean, obviously you got drafted, you won Rookie of the Year, you just hit the ground running. And, you win a Super Bowl. Like, what was it like having so much success, like, to start off your career? Like, one of the most successful starts, period, in history.
Yeah. Never in a million years did I expect that. It was a true blessing. Never in a million years did I expect to go, second overall. I always had a quiet self-confidence that I would make it to the National Football League, that I would accomplish my dream of playing in the National Football League, but I never in a million years thought it would be like that. It's truly been a blessing. You go out there rookie season and you rattle off, 12 and a half sacks and go to the Pro Bowl and do all of these things. I always felt like I was capable of those things, but I never expected it. And I just try to go out there and I just try to be the best teammate that I could possibly be. Forget the football stuff. I just try to be the best teammate that I can possibly be on and off the football field, and the success, it just comes with that.
Yeah. So I've met a lot of successful people in sports and business and content creation, like, people who are literally at the top of their field. And it's funny because many of them have kind of had that same thing. Like, obviously they knew they were talented. They knew that they had confidence they were going to have success, but to be like the top, they were like, yeah, dude, I wouldn't have expected that. Like it was crazy. Like, but it's always a similar story of, dude, I just put in the work every day. I just kept my head down and I looked up and I was.
It just happens. And I think a caveat to that is when you're presented with those opportunities, you got to take advantage of that. Whenever the opportunity presents itself, you have to be in position to take advantage of that. So whenever God blesses you with amazing opportunity, you have to be in position to take advantage of that, and that's what I've always tried to do. Whenever I look up and get it in the situation, I just try to take advantage of my position.
Yeah. So what was it like when Broncos signed Peyton Manning?
It was great. It brought a sense of urgency immediately.
Yeah.
The year before we had Tim Tebow, and I felt like we could win the Super Bowl with Tim Tebow.
What was that like with Tebow going through just that crazy run where
it was crazy? Like, God is definitely real. I experienced
Tim proved it.
I experienced it on the football field. It was moments that we were not supposed to win, and we ended up doing it. And Tim Tebow he's a huge believer, and it kind of rubbed off on everybody, man. I'm deeply rooted in my faith as well, and to have Tim Tebow lead, our team in that way, it was incredible, man. But was he throwing for 400 yards? No, he wasn't. Would he go out there and do some crazy stuff? Yes, but at the same time, it was a fun season. I got to play with Tim Tebow. We had success. We made it to the playoffs. We beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were supposed to go to the Super Bowl and win it.
Didn't he throw like a 70-yard pass to win? I remember that was crazy.
He threw a 5-yard slant to Demaryius Thomas. And he took it
like
to the end zone. R.I.P. DT. But it was a great season. So we had success that first season. Then they bring in Peyton Manning, and it's like, okay, we had the team to do that. Now we got Peyton Manning, it was a sense of urgency from everybody in the facility, from the coaches to the janitors to the cafeteria workers. They all felt it. It's Super Bowl time now, and he brought that sense of urgency to our team.
Yeah. So what stuck out to you about Peyton? Like what was so why was he so good?
You could just tell off top, everything had purpose. Everything had intent. The way he practiced, the way he threw the ball, the way he demanded accountability from everybody on the football team. He was an excellent leader. He knew the number one guy on the roster from Demaryius Thomas to, the guys that's walking on, or the guys that's on the scout team. He knew every single body in that facility. He called everybody by first name, from coaches to janitors. He was all the way in on helping us win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But what sticks out to me about Peyton, and I mean, I could be wrong, but like watching him and Tom Brady, like obviously they just were head to head for a decade at least. And neither of them are like these big physical guys, And then you have guys like Josh Allen, who are obviously ultra physical. And then you got guys like Aaron Rodgers who just, this dude makes throws that nobody else can. It's ridiculous. I grew up a Packers fan, so I'm like a Rodgers guy.
I like Rodgers too. I think what makes Peyton different from all of those guys, because he's not the fastest. He definitely didn't have the strongest arm.
Yeah.
He was incredibly smart. He could anticipate things, not guess. I'm sure he probably guessed a couple times too. But his anticipation of the game and the way he studied, it just showed when he was on the football field. Whether it's, checking from the Omaha check from, a slant to a fade or a goal, being able to identify defenses. You can say what you want about who's the best quarterback to ever play in the National Football League, this and that. Peyton Manning is, of course, Tom Brady. He won 7 Super Bowls. He's the GOAT.
Stats wise, he's the
Peyton
GOAT.
Manning changed the quarterback position. He'd come up to the line, checky again, checky one more time, throw the ball, touchdown. Like that all started with Peyton Manning. He changed the game of football, and he'll always be the GOAT in my book for sure.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I love Tom Brady too. But Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Of course I'm biased because I love Peyton. I love Peyton. So I would say Peyton's a GOAT, but I also love Tom Brady as well.
Yeah. So you obviously won a Super Bowl with Peyton, and you're the MVP of the Super Bowl, not even Peyton. I remember that. Peyton was kind of at the tail end of his career, and it's like defense won that championship.
Yep. Never in a million years that I think it would happen. But what I will say, I always get nervous before games, and I have some type of anxiety, a good anxiety, because I want to go out there and play to a level where I'm trying to break a record. I'm trying to do something special every time I step on the football field. So I feel like that's where the anxiety comes from. It's not pressure. Pressure is self-perceived. It wasn't pressure. It was just, I want to go out here and do great. But that game, I didn't have any of that. Like, we had 2 weeks to get ready for the Carolina Panthers. And I just felt it. Like, I wasn't nervous at all. I went out there and I ran to the ball. I left it all out there. It's a Super Bowl. Yeah. And I think another thing too, Cam Newton was the number 1 pick. I was the number 2 pick, and I wanted to go out there and play to a level because I knew that it would be some comparison there too. Yeah. Future dropped the album the day before. I think it was Evol, and Future was kicking it with Cam as well. So they were good buddies, and it was one song. I think it was Program. The song is called Program on Evol, and he started the song off saying, he's like, we're about to win so big. And I'm like, damn. They think that these are things that you just, maybe it had no connection. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
They feel like they already won Super Bowl. I'm about to go out here and I'm about to leave it all out there. And never in a million years did I think it would be like that. And another thing to that, whenever you're doing something for somebody else, whenever you're playing for somebody else, I was playing for Peyton Manning. I wanted him to get that second Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Playing for DeMarcus Ware, I wanted him to get his first.
Yep.
Wade Phillips had been in the league for 45 years, 50 years, never won a Super Bowl. I wanted to do it for him too. Coach Kubiak, he's an Aggie just like me. I wanted to do it for those guys. And whenever you're doing something for somebody else, it brings more out of you.
Right.
And that was just one of those special moments where it was just, it wasn't for me, it was for those guys.
Yeah. No, 100%. So what was it like? I mean, you guys had so much success in Denver for many, many years, and then you start going through like a rebuild, and then you get traded, and all, like, what was it like, this like new phase of your career?
It was, to be honest, it hurt at first.
Yeah.
I felt like my girlfriend, like, dumped me. I felt like she rolled over. I felt like she rolled over. And
10 years together.
10 and a half years. And she just rolled over in the bed and looked at me and said, I don't want you no more. That's how it felt. I mean, I love Denver. I still love Denver. I love Denver. Like, I had totally bought in, not only the football.
Would you have stayed there for the rebuild and everything?
Yeah, I wanted to be part of the solution. I felt like, you know, I totally bought in, not only a Denver Bronco, but I bought into being a Coloradan. Like, I bought into the Rocky Mountains. I bought into everything Denver.
Yep.
And you just walk in one day to the facility and they call you upstairs and say, we trading you to Los
It was like
Angeles.
that.
It was like
there
that.
was no like,
no
hey,
idea.
let's talk about it. Like this.
Nope.
Wow.
Me or my agent, we didn't have any type of idea. And they called me up to the office and they told me that they were trading me. He told me immediately that he was trading me to the Los Angeles Rams. But when he said, it was like slow motion for me. He was like, we are trading you. And mid-sentence, I was thinking in my head, where? It like slowed down, and then right after he said the Los Angeles Rams. I said, "Damn, they got Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald and Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Leonard. How they gonna afford me?" Like, he was like, "We're gonna pay your contract. we really need the draft picks." He was like, "We really need the draft picks. We're gonna pay the rest of your contract. They need a pass rusher. You want to win right now? We are a couple of seasons away from winning."
Yeah.
And we doing you a favor, man. Go get you a Super Bowl. And it hurt. I cried. Like that was I was a grown ass man. I was 32 years old, and I cried. Like, I couldn't stop crying because I had so much attachment. It just felt like it really hit home that phase of my life was over with.
Right.
And I had a tough time at first, but when I hopped on that plane, the rest of that day I was shook. Melvin Gordon had came over to my house and he was like, "Damn, fam, they really trading you." And Brandon McManus came, and then all the fans would cry, and it was a really emotional time for me. But when I hopped on that plane, I said, "Man, when I land in LA, I'm not a Denver Bronco no more. I'm an LA Ram, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win another Super Bowl." That's why I play this game. When you win a Super Bowl, it creates this addiction.
Yeah.
When you have success like that, it's guys that play in the league never experience a Super Bowl, and they okay, they have success.
Yeah.
But once you experience a Super Bowl, nothing else compares to that but win another Super Bowl.
Right.
So I wanted to win another Super Bowl, and I would when I was with the Denver Broncos, I would preach Super Bowl this, Super Bowl that. This is what we did in Super Bowl 50. We got to do it like this, and it kind of fell on deaf ears because
they just don't know.
Nobody has never experienced that.
Yeah.
So when I went to LA, they just lost the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it was
they're still reliving the sting.
Everything that I was talking about. This is what Super Bowl teams do. They just ate it all up. Like, Aaron Donald was like, "What this and that?" Like, he was like, "Man, we all were passionate about winning the Super Bowl, and that was refreshing." Being in LA, it really revived my career. Being around Aaron Donald, Coach McVay, it was an easy going facility. All they care about is winning. And at that point in my career, I really needed that. And Coach McVay and Les Snead and Aaron Donald and all of those guys, man, they really refreshed my career for sure.
Yeah. What do you think about a guy like Donald, who's like basically the second coming of you, essentially?
No,
the younger you.
He his own thing. he is. I tell you right now, like he is his own player that has never been a player like Aaron Donald to ever play in the National Football League. Probably never will be.
Yeah.
You got guys that come up and are similar to other guys. Like, there's nobody that will ever play like Aaron Donald. And I played with the guy. He's the most talented.
He's a freak.
He's the most talented football player that I've ever played with. And I played with some guys.
Yeah.
His intention, the intense energy that he has about his self and his personality.
Yeah.
You can just feel it, man. You can just feel it every single day. The way he practiced, the way he studied, the way he walked through the facility, you can tell he wanted it bad. That's the only thing that he didn't have. He won Defensive Player of the Year, multiple Pro Bowls, highest paid defensive player ever, all of that stuff. But he didn't have a Super Bowl. So for me to be able to contribute to him in his life is something that I cherish for the rest of my days.
So, like, even with a guy like him, I remember seeing things of like, oh, he doesn't know if he wants to keep playing or not. Like,
That's all.
It's all contract stuff.
That was all contract stuff. You see, it worked, didn't it? It worked. it worked, didn't it? It worked, didn't it?
That's funny.
But I don't. Then again, too, like, he's accomplished everything.
Yeah. He doesn't need to keep playing.
He's accomplished everything. He doesn't need to keep playing for money. He's stacked.
Yep.
I think after this deal, he signed a 3-year, $99 million deal. I think after this, he'll be done for sure. I think he's done year 12. He signed that deal year 9.
Yeah.
He's going into year 10. I think after this contract, he'll be done. There's nothing else for him to do.
Yeah. You know what's crazy, man, is like just hearing the story of how you got traded. I mean, they talk about pro sports being cutthroat. Like, I remember nowhere near to your degree, but I remember the day I got released. They call you up and they're like, yo, you're out. And you're like, man, what do I do?
Pat you on the back and
yeah, we got another guy. And you're just like, wow.
Pat you on the back and say they don't love you, and it's out.
Well, and the thing is too, like with sports, like there's a time limit. It's done. You know, when you get fired from your job, you're like, all right, I'll just go get another job. Yep. Whatever. So, I mean, for you, you're on the backside of your career now. And dude, I mean, to be even in the league going on what, 12, 13 years?
13.
It's crazy. Like how much does that go into your mindset of like do you have an idea of how many more years you want to play? Like what's your goal?
Nope, I don't think about it at all. I really don't. I try to surround myself with the young guys on the football team. I'm all about positive self-talk. I don't like to speak about retirement, or I don't like to get out of bed. Even though you had these aches and pains, I'm all right. I'm good. I feel good.
Yeah.
And when I go in the facility, I never like to complain. I'm like, man, I don't want to do, because that mindset and that personality is what I've identified in guys that are on their way out. When guys start talking like that, like, man, I don't need. And it was hard to wake up this morning. Hey, we got to do this again. I was cold outside. Man, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this. Once they start talking like that, it's close. So for me, I just try to keep all of that away. I like to surround myself around the young guys, the first and second year guys that's running hard. And I like to compete with those guys to prove to myself that I still got it. So I don't like to think about retirement. I know it's coming, but I don't like to think about it. It's times where I get on my knees and I pray to God and I beg them, please let me go out here and have a good game. Please, Lord, let me have success at practice, this and that. I begged for this. I prayed for this. I willed this with God. So I just don't want to give it away. At the same time, I don't want to get kicked out the league either. So it's that medium where when you identify like it's time for me to go before they kick me out, that's where I would like to do.
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, you took like probably the toughest moment in your career where like we're trading you, and then God turns that into you win the Super Bowl. You just end up in this even better situation. You just never know how it's going to play out.
You just never know. I thought I was going to get a new deal with the Denver Broncos. I came into that season like I'm gonna play my ass off so I can get a new deal. They ended up trading me. I've never been a guy that bounced around. I always thought I was gonna be a Denver Bronco. Yeah. They traded me to the Los Angeles Rams. I love it here. I'm gonna
stay here for a while.
I love LA. We done won a Super Bowl with Aaron Donald. Man, we got everything we need. I'm in LA. Like I love LA. I've been going to LA my whole career. I love LA. It's like I'm gonna spend the rest of my career here. Free agency comes. The Buffalo Bills come with just everything. Like they come with Josh Allen, a great contract, a great organization. Like the GM's great, and it was just that perfect opportunity that I couldn't turn down. I couldn't. Sometimes guys take the money and they go to a terrible team. That wasn't my case. Like I was going to go play with Josh Allen to go chase another Super Bowl. Not one time, not two times, but a lot for the rest of my career. So I had to take advantage of the opportunity, and it was a good choice for me. Brandon Bean, the GM, is great. Terry Pagula, our owner, he's great as well. And it's a great environment for me to play football, for me to lead the young guys, and for me to transition over to what I want to do next after football. And I want to be a GM. I want to work in the front office in a National Football League. And Brandon Bean has been helping me transition through that while I'm still playing.
So why do you want to be a GM?
My whole entire life I've been playing football. Yeah. My whole entire life.
Why not coach? Like, why GM?
No, coach. These guys don't listen now.
You already doing it a little bit.
I seen some of these guys report cards, and hey, you got to have patience with some of these guys. And I got so much respect for coaches.
Yeah.
They got kids and families, and they commit so much time, which to be a GM and a great scout and to be in the front office, it takes time as well. But it's just a level of patience that I do not have that I really applaud in all the great coaches, because they have patience, not only 1 year, 2 years, but they are patient with these guys to help develop these guys. For me, I would rather be on the building side, getting the right coach in for those guys, getting the right cafeteria workers in, getting the right athletic training staff and the right mental coaches in.
You want to be, part of the whole picture, not just
create
what's given to you.
I want to create what the Bills, what I've identified in the 3 Super Bowl teams that I had, because I'm about to win another one with the Buffalo.
I feel you on that.
What I've identified in the 3 Super Bowl teams, I want to build that. I want to create that. I want to.
What was the common?
Common denominator? You got to have a great quarterback.
Yep.
You got to have a great defense, which that's all around the league.
Yep.
I think the structure of the team has to be founded in competition and development. You're not going to always win, but we can create a competitive team, a competitive product each and every week. And then when we get our quarterback, we got to pull the trigger on that.
Yeah.
Now we start spending all the money to get the receivers and everybody else. Now we go all in. If we don't have that, our coach has to put us in position to compete, to win games. You're not going to win them all in the National Football League. You're going to have a horrible team, but you have to have a structure in place that can put a competitive product out each and every week.
Well, usually you need a horrible team to get the quarterback.
100%. Sometimes you can get them in free agency too, a trade, but most likely you're gonna have a terrible team, and you're gonna draft your franchise quarterback for sure.
Yeah. Do you think that? Because obviously you guys got Peyton Manning, and so that was great. But how many big free agents in the last 10 years have there been? It's like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees.
Yeah, it doesn't, you got it's Aaron Rodgers trade. It doesn't really happen like that. So it takes a team.
Aaron Rodgers might only play 1 year, from the way he talks.
Yeah, it takes a team full of guys to be able to identify that franchise quarterback. Of course, if I'm the GM, I'm gonna be the one pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
But you want to depend on everybody else around me. That's another thing that I've identified in all the great GMs. They depend on everybody else around them. They have that former GM, that's the assistant GM, and they just depend on the structure that they've created to be successful.
So what do you think is the common theme for why you get a franchise? This is such a science. Everyone's trying to figure out what makes a franchise quarterback. It used to be you got to look 6'4", you got to have a cannon and leadership, and then it was nope. Russell Wilson out here winning.
Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes is winning.
Yeah.
You're the GM now. You're done playing. You're a GM. What are you looking for?
What separates great quarterbacks from other great quarterbacks is up here.
Yeah.
It's up here. Josh Allen wasn't always. At first, I thought Josh Allen was going to be a bust.
Yeah, he was a risk.
But up here, he was always mentally sharp. He got better each and every week. And sometimes, you're in real estate. It don't always happen all the time.
Yeah.
You can invest in something and it's supposed to, but
then you lose.
You're gonna have those moments where you lose, but you got to be able to have a plan B and be able to work through it. But those franchise quarterbacks, they have it up here. Of course, they have the arm, the talent, the leadership. Those are all common things. The mindset, their mental process, that's what separates one quarterback from the other quarterback, in my opinion.
How do you figure that out, though? Because you can have the pre-draft things. You're gonna go talk to their teammates and their coaches.
I can see it.
You could just see it.
I can see it on the football field. When I talk to the guy, I can see it. I can feel the energy. I'm an energy guy. I can feel it. He might go out there and throw 3 picks or whatever it may be, but I can see the way he's not rattled. I can see the moxie. I can see the intelligence. It's 2 types of GMs. You got the player development, the player evaluation type of GMs, the guys that can just see talent and feel it. And then you got the financial stat type of GM. I would be on the player evaluation guy. I've been playing football my whole entire life. I can just see it. Of course, I'm not going to be I don't hit on all the quarterbacks. Every quarterback that I thought we had in Denver, I felt like we could win the Super Bowl. But as a GM, you have to be
more objective.
You have to be more objective, and you can't. You got to take the personality and the relationships out of it. So I can see it. I can see the young quarterbacks that's coming up. Then also you got to be able to depend on the guys around you too, for sure.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I might think the quarterback is good, and I got my guy telling me like, no,
Yeah.
you don't want to do that, man. You know, sometimes you just got to be able to, to have that discernment to be able to choose this and that.
How much of a, I mean, I know it plays a role, but how much is interesting? Like that the situation and the team and the system matters.
That's everything.
Yeah, because like when I look at, so many guys that were supposed to be great and then they just don't. It's like, well, yeah, their team around them is pretty trash. Yeah. And then you see a guy like Patrick Mahomes who goes into like Andy Reid's system where literally everyone's good. Yeah. And then he's who he is too. But like it was like the optimal outcome. So
for me, they have all of these scouting platforms in place, like a Pro Football Focus and, scouts. They rank all of these guys. There is no evaluation process in place for coaches.
Right.
And I think that would when I become a GM, that would be one of the things that I would want to create. I want a process in place that will show me who's the best quarterback coach, who is the best defensive line coach. Because right now, it's all word of mouth. Everybody's all buddies. Like I know this guy.
Belichick's the best.
I work with him, this and that. I want a process in place that'll show me that it's just a tool at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But it'll help me make that decision on. I get my franchise quarterback right. I want to put him with the best quarterback coach.
Yeah.
That's what I want, and I want to put him in a situation where we could be successful. And I think creating a tool to be able to identify the right coaches and the right offensive system, it would be great for the National Football League.
How much has coaching played into your role of just like, man, these aha moments where you're like, dude, I would not be the player I am.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Without this guy.
Joe Kynes, my defensive coordinator at Texas A&M for my junior, my sophomore and junior year, Joe Kynes showed me how to play football.
Yeah.
I thought I did. I'm in college and I still didn't know how to play football.
Yeah.
He showed me how to play football. He made me believe that I could get it done. He was hard on me. It was a lot of embarrassing moments in front of my teammates, but all of these things helped me become the player I am. Then when I got in my rookie season, Richard Smith, my linebackers coach, he showed me how to play football as well. He was hard on me. He showed me how to tackle, showed me how to come in there with the right intention, the right mindset. Those two guys, of course, I've had great coaches throughout my whole career. Those two guys have had a huge influence on my game. And the coach that I have now, Coach Eric Washington, he's just a leader of men.
Yeah.
He really is. Those three guys have really played a huge part on my career.
Yeah. I try to tell people that all the time. Like, when you're an athlete, I mean, naturally you have coaches. Mm-hmm. And so like, man, dude, this guy helped me. I didn't like this guy because he was a bad leader or whatever the case was. And then, when you get into business and other parts of life, a lot of people think, oh, well, I'll just figure it out. And I'm like, no, dude, you want to be great at real estate, go get a real estate coach who's done it. You want to be great at social media, go get trained by somebody who's, built a huge social media.
Iron sharp as iron. You always want to surround yourself around people that can help mold you and help you elevate yourself. At the same time, too, I want to be around guys that push me and motivate me as well, that coach me.
Yeah.
But I want to be around guys that are on the same level as me so we can compete.
Yeah.
And then I want to be able to work with the younger guys too, so I can plant seeds and help those guys out too. So it's a rotation of things for me that I like to surround myself with, all three of those types of guys, types of people.
Yeah, you need a mentor, you need a peer, and you need a mentee, essentially. So, I mean, you guys last year went through one of the craziest situations with Hamlin. What was that like?
It was scary. It really was, and thank God that everything is okay now. He's gonna play football this season.
But it was scary. He's doing good now.
It was scary. So this was a week after I tore my ACL, so I didn't travel with the team to Cincinnati. It was a Monday night football game. It's a big game for us.
Yeah.
This was essentially battle for first place, battle for the bye week. It was a huge game. We really wanted to play that game. We really knew the results of that game would have a huge impact on the rest of the league. So it was a big game It was a big game for us. Watching the game, first play, Taron Johnson, he gets hurt. He got hurt the play before, and it was a slow process for him getting up. And then the very next play, DeMar Hamlin gets hurt, and we were watching it, And they showed an instant replay of him standing up and him falling out. And then I'm just thinking maybe he just got knocked out or something. Maybe it's, a head injury. And they go to commercial break. And then we come back. And then they go to commercial break again.
Yeah.
And then they come back. And the ambulance has stayed in the same spot throughout 20, 25 minutes. That's when I knew, like, it was something really, really serious. Because usually it could be knockout. They would scoop him up, put him on an ambulance, get him out of here, resume the game.
Yeah.
It was 20, 30, 40 minutes into it. I knew it was something serious. I got on my phone and they was telling me that they were doing, CPR on him. I've never in my life experienced anybody on the football field having to do CPR. Like, he was fighting for his life. I've never seen that. So it hit me pretty hard when they would cut to my teammates and I saw those guys crying. We've all been experienced to all different types of football injuries. But when I saw those guys reacting the way that they did, I knew it was something really, really serious.
Yeah. You know what's crazy from that whole thing is, like, I saw so much outpouring of prayer, all the, like, on just ESPN and all this stuff.
It was great, man. The way DeMar has handled that exposure, the way that he's handled the spotlight, and he's just spreaded it out and pushed it on all different types of things, and he's putting more CPR units in schools. Like, he used that negative moment, the world surrounded him, and he used whatever light that he had, whatever platform that he had for good.
Yeah.
And everything that he gets from that, man, I'm happy for DeMar, man. It was a scary moment. It brought the world together, and he's gonna be all right. And it's just one of those things. It started out tragic, but it ended up being beautiful at the end.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people after that, because it just, everything going on with the vaccine and stuff, like saying, like, dude, this would have never happened.
Yeah. If it was a vaccine and this and that, it's all type of stuff. I've never seen anything like that. So it had to. Who knows what contributing factors could have went into that? I'm just happy, and I'm grateful that he's all right.
Yeah. As we wrap up here, dude, I got to ask you. So, obviously you've accomplished so much as an athlete and football, and you're going to get that third Super Bowl. So, being that a lot of people listen are business people and investors, you've also made a boatload of cash playing sports. How are you investing your money? What are you doing?
So I have a chicken farm in Texas.
Okay.
I went to school at Texas A&M, and it started off by taking an easy class. Like a lot of student athletes, I needed this class for my GPA. It was averaging an A-, and I needed that. I needed that for my GPA. I took the class, and it was easy.
Yeah.
So I started falling asleep in there. Like, I'll fall asleep. And Dr. Farnell, he would wake me up and make me recite everything that we learned today, from vertical integration, genetics, production, the whole nine. Like, and in turn, I really started to, like, know the business. And you go to college as a student athlete, you go to college to find your plan B, because the NFL doesn't happen for everybody.
Right.
So right when I was in that class, it was an aha moment for me. I was like, man, I can do this. Like, I can be a chicken farmer. Like, I love the.
You learned that you wanted to be a chicken farmer.
The type of everybody eats chicken. Everybody eats chicken. Everybody might not eat beef, but a lot of people eat chicken. The majority of people eat chicken or chicken broth or some type of chicken product. So I felt like, for me, it was that moment for me. Like, damn, I can sell a shitload of chicken. This is gonna be.
Shaq's got his franchise.
Yeah, he does, and I produce birds. And when I got to the league, it was a huge pushback from, like, Peter Vaughn has a chicken farm, so I had to kind of revision it. I wanted to create a humanely raised product, non-GMO, 100% organic, and I wanted to have a product that I could stand behind. Because a lot of chicken farms, they don't want you to see what's going on in these chicken farms. But for me, we have a fully organic chicken farm. We have these units that drag it across the pasture. So it's a pasture-raised product that have access to bugs and grass and natural sunlight. Yeah. And it's a product that I can really stand behind. They only have one bad day. Yeah. In their whole entire life. And that's the last one. So I like to focus when it comes to business and really invest in money. I don't like to take a lot of risks. Yeah. If I'm gonna take a risk, it's got to be something that I truly believe
you're passionate about.
And it just comes from the thing that we talked about at the very beginning of this podcast. Like, when the opportunity presents itself, you have to be in position to be able to take advantage.
Yeah. So you're doing chicken farms.
Doing chicken farm.
What else?
I'm a chicken farmer, have some real estate investments. Financial advisors big on oil and gas. Yeah, that's all I get. That's all I got right now. I gotta get with you. We could figure some stuff out and do some stuff together. I would love that.
There's gonna be a ton of stuff we could do.
Yes, sir.
So, well, bro, I appreciate you coming out, man. I'm wishing you the best of luck. I'm gonna be rooting for you. I mean, obviously, you guys got the team to do it, and you're already calling it out. So,
gotta speak it to existence, man.
Speak it to existence. First guy, 3 Super Bowls.
Yes, sir. Positive self-talk. Positive self-talk. It starts up here in business and in life, for sure.
100%. Well, guys, I appreciate you for watching this episode. Go follow Vaughn if you're not. He's got great vlogs and content. He's going to be probably wrecking your favorite quarterback. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
The more pain that you can get the prospect to feel, the more they want to change.
I have got what Inc. calls the #1 fastest growing sales company in the world.
The unique use of behavioral science and human psychology.
The sales world has already transformed. We need to catch up with it.
3x, 5x, even 10x their sales results.
His training has transformed everything.
Most salespeople have been